curtain has opened on a new series, gentlemen.
Maybe take that down a notch.
Matty's volume level just gone like spike.
You did say have fun with it, play around with it.
Are we all well?
I'll go again. The curtains are cascading open on a new series, gentlemen. Are you excited?
I am. Cascaded?
Poured downwards rapidly and in large quantities.
Also, they've dropped. The
Yeah,
curtains
curtains
dropped.
have fallen.
But that's the end of the show, innit? If they've dropped and they've opened.
Go again then.
The curtains are swooshing open on the new series, gents. No?
Terrible word. Swooshing. Have you ever said swooshing?
The curtains have opened on a new series.
It doesn't matter what he's saying, there's always that. Like, I've just had a lovely shit.
Go again. Think something else.
Curtains are open, new series. Gents.
Welcome back.
Much better.
That's all we needed from you. Your normal, boring, mundane self. Are we all well?
Yes.
Outstanding,
Good.
John. He's got a new pair of trainers.
White ones.
You look good.
Thanks.
I think we all look good. There's a bit of exciting news for this series is that O'Neills Sportswear are supporting the show throughout the series.
Very much appreciated.
And look at this. Huh?
Attention to detail.
So we've got the Undr The Cosh kits, which will be ready available to anybody who wants one.
We'll get on to them a bit later on. What? Have you had a good summer? Good time off?
Too good. Boozing, a lot of having fun. Ready to go again.
Much sex?
The curtain is swooshed.
I've had much sex?
Plenty.
Yeah.
Have the legs been swooshing?
The old man's been swooshing everywhere.
The legs have been
Cascading everywhere.
unfurling. Loads of unfurling going on.
No, but thanks everyone for coming back.
Yeah.
We've got
Season,
some-
come on, 20?
Is it 20?
Any ideas, Matt?
been
I
two-
think it's 18. It's 18.
We'll go with 18.
It's been too long. We're too long between series, I think.
He's gone
Oh, it's
I know when he
building
goes
anticipation.
he goes
People are
serious.
biting at the bit.
Honestly, my missus, you know what she said to me the other day? Why don't you get a little taxi job? I went, what? She
To be
went,
fair, if I could see John Parkin doing any other job, it'd be taxi driver.
I said, why? I said, I've got 2 jobs. Why do I want another? She says, you know, it's your house.
Imagine the smell.
All right.
Imagine the smell in John's taxis.
I know.
Obviously, we're half tongue in cheek, but she's actually like raging. She went, are you back at work this week? I'm like, no.
Has she been cracking the whip, tidying and that?
I do a bit of tidying. Oh, I can't concentrate now. I'm snaps here.
Welcome back.
And we've got some, I'm excited about the guests lined up.
Some big hitters. Some opinionated big hitters. That was funny yesterday. Can we just say you were last in, weren't you? Because John had sent you to get the drinks. And we'd all introduced ourselves to Sam Allardyce. You've walked in and you've it was a bit, what's the word? He just walked in as if he expected Sam to know who he was.
Yeah, very abrupt.
Yeah. Hi, you all right? And put your coffee down.
I had a tray of coffees in my hand.
And then Sam just went, and who are you?
No.
True or false?
No, false. Because
See, he can't, honestly can't lie straight
are
in
you
bed, can he?
gonna let me finish?
I was here.
I put the drinks down and I said, "Hi Sam, nice to meet you." What I didn't do is say I'm Chris. So
And he went, who are you?
It was the and who are you?
It was as though you were the worst dressed waiter in England.
well, you enjoyed it though, didn't you?
Oh, I love it
we're
like
just
that.
sending for coffees.
Almost had him down as a runner.
So yeah, excited for the season to crack on. Unbelievable guests, but a massive thank you has to go to O'Neills Sportswear, as we mentioned at the beginning, because as you can see, we're all looking fandabiosi.
Not only are they sponsoring the podcast, but they've provided some.
Yeah, they're supporting the podcast, which
Excellent.
is unbelievable what they've done getting these kits together, and they're ready and available.
So you can actually buy these, can't you? Mm-hmm.
What I want to see is live show, a full kit, full kit koshers.
Wanker them all.
National anthem and that.
Yeah, and on chest.
What we're going to be his national anthem song?
Not Erasure.
No,
I'm sick of
Zombie.
that. Zombie.
Imagine 300 people stood there.
That would be the
Zombie, zombie.
That'll be the true definition of a Kosher, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? If you
Shin pads.
come to a live show
Shin pads.
in an Under the Cosh shirt, that is definitely a. Imagine, although I will still be perfectly blunt. If somebody comes with a jumper on and a shirt over the top of it, they're getting battered.
Out.
Yeah, out. Give me your ticket money back and fuck off.
No money back.
Well,
just out.
Do not
Evicted.
wear a jumper and your football shirt over the top. I think that is totally unacceptable.
So there's a link in the description if you want to get yourself involved with a kit because they look bloody fantastic. But O'Neills, they do bespoke shirts, don't they? Especially
You
if
can
you want a
design your own,
five-a-side.
can't you?
You can design your own. If you've got a 5-a-side team, 11-a-side.
As I said, 12 minimum, but you can go up to as many as you want if you want to kit the whole club out.
Quick turnaround as well.
4 to
Look
6
on
weeks,
this
I think,
website.
wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks from design to delivery.
Oh, you should be working at marketing team. But no, massive thanks to O'Neills for supporting the whole series. So, John, you tell me, who have we got for our very first guest? Now the curtain has swung open.
Big Sam, is it?
Is it?
Is it? Can you name 7 clubs he's managed?
Yeah.
Go on.
Notts County, Bolton Wanderers, Sunderland, Newcastle, Everton, West Brom. Did I say Blackburn?
We've got all day.
You didn't say Blackburn.
You didn't.
Blackburn.
So 7.
There's another one.
Palace.
I said gives a minute.
There's another one as well.
Blackpool,
Yes, well
Preston. He had a stint as Preston
done.
caretaker.
Yeah, caretaker. He did
Excelled
well.
yourself
I got
then,
9
John.
out of 7 there.
New man. He's a new man.
Yeah.
This series.
And I don't think he's finished yet, Sam.
Well,
But,
we'll find out in a
we'll
bit,
find
eh?
out. Should we get him in then?
Yeah, let's get
Don't
him
like
in.
that, do you?
Sorry, who are you again?
Ladies and gentlemen,
What are you again?
Big Sam, Mr. Sam Allardyce.
So we managed over 1,000 games, and some of the questions we got from our punters.
Fans, not punters. You derogatory bastard.
What's your chippy order? And how many pints of wine before you're absolutely tonto? That's what we're dealing with.
Class questions.
We got some good ones as well, though.
They need answering, don't they?
We'll get on to football, but in a while.
Did you see the Sky Sports News when your arms folded? and
Yes.
The teams are up.
Oh,
You look like you look
that's
at a
a
menu.
terrible. I actually give him a. I told him off. I said, "Why didn't you come to me and said, is this picture all right, Sam? For goodness sake, like, yeah, all right."
So you didn't veto it?
No, well, they just did it without telling me.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, like you go to a new club, you're like, and I went like that. That's another bollocking off missus I got then.
You must have a large sausage with your fish and chips, surely.
A large sausage? No, not really.
We've had a
Fish
number
chips
of...
and mushy peas still.
Yeah?
We're still on fish and chips.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Tub of curry?
Yes, curry sauce. Yeah.
Could have got my dipper, hadn't you?
That's gravy.
Sausage for walk home.
No one does love gravy, but I'm from the Midlands.
Wolves. I didn't. Never had you down as a Wolves fan.
Were you a Wolves fan growing up?
Funnily enough, it only because my old man was a policeman, and he managed to get some tickets for Wolves.
What happened to the accent?
I had to get rid. I got the Mickey taken out to be that much at Bolton. I had to get rid of it quickly.
Was it a conscious effort to get rid of it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Morning, chaps.
You know what Mickey taking's like at football clubs.
Them days as well.
It could be never ending and brutal, and like, you know, HR would be working 24/7 if they were dealing with what we used to do. You know what I mean? I mean, if you didn't cope, you didn't last.
We spoke about it many a time. You think they were like a bullying mentality back?
Well, it's 100% bullying in today's wokey world, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I understand that it had to change, but I do think it's far too much now the other way.
It's gone too
You know
far
what I
the
mean?
other
I
way.
think it's far too much, and the country's in a terrible, terrible state because of it.
Did Wolves ever come in for you as a player or manager?
No, I trained at Wolves when I was a kid. I mean, I left school at 15. I couldn't wait to leave school because my education. So nobody knew about dyslexia then. So I'm a dyslexic. So I was not great because of that. When you look back about it, you know, you're trying, but you just can't see it.
You don't
know.
Don't understand why you can't do it as well.
I mean, and you got
as everybody else.
So, but I think it give me other heightened senses.
Yeah.
So concentration on topics that I liked would be more about listening than reading.
Just absorbing that information.
Absorbing that, which made it even better for me at football. I mean, eventually, I used to be able to say, "What are you doing? You should be there." You know, later on when I'd maybe captain of the team, like I mean, I'd organise the rest of the team, because some lads would say, "What, you know, who am I picking up on? You're picking up him," like I mean. So that was I think became one of the assets that I had, like remembering not just my position but other people's responsibility, like I mean.
Was that always throughout your playing career? Because am I right in saying that you were offered the Millwall job at 28?
27.
27?
Yeah.
So did you always have that leadership quality from...
I didn't know about that. I just play football.
So when they offered you that job at 27, did that just come out the blue?
Out the blue, yeah. Alan Thorne, who rescued me from Sunderland. Unbelievable because I was living the wrong life by travelling all the time, and the family being in Bolton and me being in Sunderland, and they wouldn't allow me to move the family up because of the state of the country at the time. So I couldn't sell my house, so I couldn't afford to buy an house in Sunderland and move the family up. So I was just travelling all the time, and that was killing me. I took it upon myself to say I'll drop 2 divisions just to get the family, because Alan Thorne had convinced me and Lynn, my wife, that we could move the whole family down straight away and be together.
It's all part of the package you're moving.
All part of the package, yeah. And you're talking about League 3.
Were you not bothered though, because you were happy off the pitch as well as...
Yeah. And then I went to the first game, which was Chester away. I ran out and Lynn and the kids are waving at me, "Dad," and I'm going, "Oh, what have I done?" There's about 1,500 there, 2,000.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm playing at Sunderland, and it's 40,000 on, like, you know. So I had a mental adjustment for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, but Alan Thorne was absolutely brilliant with me. Made me enjoy football again. Because all I was doing at Sunderland was trying to play and then go home and see the family, and then go and drive 2.5 hours back up to Sunderland again, and then
got in a rut.
That was just the way it was. I don't understand why the owner, which was Tom Cowie at the time, couldn't give me a bridging mortgage or, you know, anything like that to give me the opportunity to move up into Chesley Street, because this is my first move.
Yeah.
Apart from leaving school at 15 and going to Bolton, this was my first move.
Would you have beat me dad over 100 yards?
No chance. Frank Clark might have done.
Was he quick, Frank, was he?
He used to take the challenge on Frank, like, I mean, and I never thought he was that quick myself, you know what I mean? But go, "I'll race you." No, you couldn't. You couldn't take Brownie on, no. Not me, anyway.
Did you always want to, you know, the Tampa Bay move? What was the crack there?
George Graham took over
At
Millwall, because at 27, there's not a chance I was ready for player manager.
Did you know you want to go into management and coaching though at this point?
Yeah, I'd started looking at coaching badges and stuff like that. You know
was it from that point of being offered the Millwall that you thought, actually?
Who taught us? Because when I talk about captain, managers see maybe leadership in you. And then you see an owner saying I think he might be a good manager for us.
Seeds are planted.
Seems a plan to go and head on and look at the coaching scenario.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of stuff when you went to Tampa with the Buccaneers? Did I read somewhere?
The Tampa Bay books was about a friendship that we made in the condominiums where we were living. My son and my daughter got friendly with. They were crossing over the seasons. Tampa Bay Bucks were coming for pre-season. We trained on a part of their training ground. So he used to say, the lad used to, I can't remember his name now, he used to say, "Come and have a look what we do." They'd sort of lent us some of the physios and that, like, I mean, had the best strappings I'd ever seen in my entire life. You know, I saw them strapping you up. Like, I mean, you could do your ankle, and they'd strap it up, and you could play. Masseurs, never seen them before. Like, I mean,
But these are all
registering
with you.
And then went up, and then with a psychologist and a psychiatrist that used to invite us round to his house and used to give us a chat, and then he'd do a barbecue and a few beers and all that. And it, you know, like anybody else here, we'd say, "Oh, that's for weak people," but realistically, it's not. But you find that out as you go on. If you do, it's not anything you can really. Nothing I could force on anybody, but you got to make sure that they're there for the people that want them, or the players and the staff. I used them an awful lot, me, when the pressure was on. But I think that the stats, the playbook, coaching in every department. So they've got all these coaches. You know, they've got a coach just for kicking. And what does he come on 3 times, 4 times?
That is my role, I think.
And that's it. You know, he's like, if he comes on and kicks, he's like, you know, he's earned his $100,000 a year now. You know what I mean?
There's a throwing coach somewhere. Isn't
So that's something in my mind that sort of stayed with me and saying, I mean, we were top. I went back to Coventry, and you got Bobby Gould and his assistant and his first team coach and the kit man and a physio. That was it.
So you've experienced this in Tampa, come back to Coventry, and you've absorbed it. This is how it should be.
Your top division in this country, and there's four people looking after you.
Bad strappings as well.
Bad strap. I did my own. So,
did that sort of frustrate you a little bit?
I mean, I was very fortunate that I had the experience at Tampa Bay, but also knew I was going back to Coventry. Because Bobby Gould had rang me up and said, well, you can come to Coventry, we'll sort a contract out before you come back. And it was the best phone call I got, because Dennis Roach, who was the agent at the time, rang me up and said, I can get you to America. And I went, oh, but Bobby Gould wants me for Coventry. So I'll sort Bobby out and be all right. So Bobby said, yeah, you'll be back. You know, I'm only taking you as a squad player. You know, see what you can do, like you mean. So anyway, when I got back, I got straight in the team anyway. Because the fitness level I'd gained by playing in 90, 85, 80% humidity made me so fit. So when I got back playing in England, in the climate in England, it was like, oh.
We had Mick Harford on.
Yeah.
He told us a story about
his lip.
Yeah.
He ran into my elbow.
Were you a nasty bastard?
Yeah.
Was that part of your game?
It was promoted by the managers.
Yeah.
It was, you know, you make him know he's in a game in the first 5 minutes, and then just pretend to pick him up and say, "Are you all right?"
I bet you it's one of them though, when you're playing against him or Billy Whitehurst or whatever. It's get them before.
Well, they were coming to get you anyway.
Exactly.
You know, Mick used to come across.
First.
This is how it happened at Coventry. At Birmingham, I'm going to head this, and I just saw him coming across. He started to come across me. Now I know that's a nose breaker at least, if you know. You know what I mean? So it was
a very minimum.
It went like that. It went. So it was bad though.
Was that?
Yeah.
Apologise.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't want him to end up like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you played against him after that.
Oh, he tried forever to get me back.
Did he?
Forever. He cut me a couple of times, like you mean. You know what I mean? So he caught me a couple of times. Not sufficient enough to cause too much bleeding. Maybe a trickle here and there, you know.
And was it Frosty? Was it a case of like a bit of hatred there?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be some scrap, that.
Yeah.
We're not so bad now. We sat.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, not great, but we're not so bad.
We're not bad now. He's done a great job at Luton, hasn't he? Yeah. I've been there for years, like me. But those battles were
part and parcel of it
every week.
Did you enjoy them?
Oh, without a doubt. The small ones were my problem.
Who's the toughest you played against?
How do you mean skill-wise?
Nah.
Physically?
Physically.
Probably Joe Jordan. He was tough, Joe.
He was handy, wasn't he?
Mick Hartford, obviously. Joe Royal.
Going on to management and stuff, how much of it, in your opinion, is the stuff you spoke about with textbooks and looking at these drills and whatever, learning formations, and how much is it of managing people?
In my eyes, coaching's a small part. But now, it's the biggest part of your job because in the top division, you're only a coach. You're not a manager anymore. So you look across the board now, they're all, the titles are head coach.
Does that automatically mean that you don't necessarily sign the players?
Yes.
So that's the directors.
It's the European version of running a football club that everybody in this country decided that should be the way that we do it, like you mean. And I'm still not convinced today. I understand that some of the load, if you're in the Premier League, has to be taken away from you because you can't do it all. You have to delegate, which is a massive part of your job. But recruitment's the most important. Sometimes you're fighting against the director of football for the player he wants rather than the player you want. But if you can get that right, then it's a really good combination. But the Europeans have been doing that forever.
So I'll take you back to Bolton when you're Bolton manager. Are you in charge of everything?
All of it, yeah. Contracts, everything.
Your recruitment, you know which players you want. Budgets,
funding, accounts, staff, academy staff.
Was that too much? Or were you sound with that?
Not particularly for me because it was about making sure that everybody understood where we needed to go and what we needed to do. I was giving the board the right guidelines on how you make a football club successful. From a football point of view, that left them to maximise all the sponsorship deals and all the deals, commercial deals that they could do to make as much money for the football club as possible. When they spouted off that how much they'd increased their turnover, they get a pat on the back. I used to say, it's only down to me though. When they were getting too cocky because the success on the field made their job easy to sell.
But you're already thinking beyond being a manager there, aren't you? You're not just there to manage this football team. You're thinking, how many tickets are we selling? How much money are we bringing in?
Bolton was my club. It gave me the opportunity to be a professional footballer. I went back unsuccessfully at one stage, but then went to Preston after that, and then came back as a manager in 1999. I mean, that's the greatest gift that football gave to me. Giving me back to the club that I spent most of my life at, in the town, spent most of my life, my family area, and then giving the fans the journey that we all went on together. That was one hell of a journey that even look back now and say sometimes, how did we manage to do that? But I just had this ultimate focus, which would leave me to be ruthless in some cases because of the where I wanted to get to and how I wanted to get there. You cannot be kind. In some cases, you got to be focused and the beauty about how we did that was me convincing a board of directors that we had to have more staff than anybody else. And they go, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, we've got all these departments that we need to start developing so we can get the best out of these players when we sign them on."
Any examples of what departments these were?
Well, we did sport psychology, stats when very few people had Prozone then, which gave us the stats, gave us the understanding of what we were achieving. Strength and conditioning department, nutrition. There was a big turnaround in nutrition. No alcohol anymore in the players' lounge. When I started, that all went.
But that went down well, did it?
Oh, we didn't went down bagger. Pre-match meals, what you can eat and what you can't eat, and this was a process of particularly an older player, getting him to adjust. Like you mean,
Was that tough?
Oh, it's tough in some cases. Yeah, very tough in some cases. And then bringing in our physio and fitness department. Bring in new ideas like electrolytes and shakes and You got the 1 hour window after you finish playing them, you know, like I mean. So the food, which ended up being a milkshake, the more you can get in the hour after you've finished, the quicker you recover before the body shuts down, and then it takes forever. So we're talking about fluids. So we test the lads when they come in, have they had enough fluid before?
This is groundbreaking for a club, like especially a club like Bolton.
Yeah. Then came the players after all that, like you mean. So the quality of player.
When you came in at Bolton, I was at college and working on turnstiles, bit of extra pocket money on a Saturday. Yeah. And the start of the season, we went and had with a mindset coach, 2 hours at the start of the season. So it obviously went from top to bottom. Down.
Well, we used to
Did you see everybody?
Well, we used to invite
everybody at the club.
We used to invite the staff up at the stadium to come and have a look, you know, and have lunch and stuff like that. Like you mean, which wasn't my idea. That was Fordy's idea. Like you mean, say let's get everybody involved. They didn't want to. Fordy was very good at bringing out a new idea. He said, let's do an analysis on your personality. I go, what do you mean? He said, well, there's a company in America where you fill in a questionnaire, and then it comes back and it tells you who you are.
Who the twats are.
You know what I mean?
He's gone.
So, yeah. So it tells you about your personality. So it tells you about what you are in public, and it tells you what you like in private. And I've gone, well, you know, it's another one of Fordy's vintage ideas. And so I was like, hey, go on then. So I said, I'm going to do the first one. I put it in my briefcase and I went home and I said, we're doing this analysis on players, Lynn. You know what I mean? So I said, see if you can guess who this player is. She went, that's you. So that sold it for me.
Yeah.
She went, I said, how did you know that? Well, it's definitely you.
And did you agree with it?
Don't pick up his dirty underpants.
Let's go. You know what I mean? That's it. It's not unusual a player can go in a big game under pressure. Before he reckons it could give us an indication on who may be more susceptible or not. So we just sit down and talk about it like you mean it. We got this big game, particularly early on to avoid relegation, second season particularly. Who would be more capable of dealing with the pressure psychologically to help us pick the right team? It's not the only reason we'd pick the team.
No, but
you never ever go with.
You've got that catalyst.
You'd never go with the fact you'd never go with the fact that you wouldn't sign him if his personality was too far apart. It could be a big worry,
right?
Because he's pretending what he is, and he's not really that when he's with you. And when he gets home, he's a completely different character. So he said if it's too far apart, that could be a bit of a concern, like you mean. So
yeah,
you know, physio,
like a cheat card, isn't it?
Physio's on what we need to do for recovery with players. Like I mean, so we ended up buying the first cryotherapy unit. I had to convince the board to pay 150 grand for that. Imagine that. You know, the first one in the country and at the training ground at minus 120. Yeah. Good for an hangover.
Yeah.
That's when you put your head in.
I tried it once.
What's he want? I can imagine him just
waiting
waiting
on Sunday morning. I felt great after 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
2 minutes in, yeah.
You get one.
It was hard work getting all the lads in though. It's hard.
Yeah.
If they could duck out, they would. Don't blame them. Like,
it's right.
But that were better. That were the next level to an ice bath.
Yeah.
So it's much quicker, much easier, and that's to help your recovery. So, because we used to see the dip off because of all the games in early January. So what are we going to do to increase the level of performance? That would help with that night. And then I dreamed up going away. You know, let's have a winter break. Winter. What do we have to call it? Winter
training camp.
Yeah. No, we had to do that. Otherwise, it was taxable.
Ah.
Benefit in kind, the taxman would tax you. So we go away to Dubai and
I think this is where you really
go to Dubai and do a bit of training in Dubai in the sunshine and all that, like you mean, and just let the lads chill out. And then
we've had loads of lads, obviously, who played for you, come on, and it's gone into our little folklore, hasn't it? That I know John said a few times he would have loved to have played for you, all because of these Dubai trips, because they all just said how important it was, how much they loved it, and it kind of galvanised everybody as well.
Yeah. Well, I think mentally as well, because you're freezing in, and you're playing all these games. Christmas and New Year, everybody's partying, and you're like, another game, another game, another game, another game. And so then you get away for a few days in the sunshine and chill out and relax and get some brain space. So when other teams are going like that, and when we started going like, when we came back from Dubai, our physical output, which is going to give you a better chance to win a game.
Did you see that consistently?
Like that consistently, yeah. Because I was the big promoter for we needed to shut up like the rest of Europe. So I was always going on about it, spouting my mouth off as usual, saying this is wrong, and I used to send all the evidence, if you like, into the FA and the Premier League, but they never bothered with it.
See, I think the sun will have played a part, the warm weather and stuff, but I think I said this to Stephen Warnock. He told us a story about one of your trips, and I think a lot of it will be the lads thinking, "Fuck me, we'll run through a brick wall."
Anybody who takes me to Dubai.
That's man management, isn't it? I think that's understanding. And your responsibility is to galvanise the squad. So how do you make the squad feel better, like you mean, feel? So it's not just all about training. It's about the feel good factor, about the fact, do you want to feel like coming in training today? Because if you're losing on a losing streak, it's like, indeed, so what are you going to change? The coaches would plan a completely great training session, right? And I'd come in and go, no. They go, what? I said, no, we're not doing that. Well, I said, it's too predictable. What do you mean? I said, yeah, but it's like the players are coming in knowing what's going to happen today. Because we've done it over the period of time, like you mean. So they all know, so let's do something like you mean that's not expected. I'd do it on the basis of the players that come out and go, what's this then? And they go, why are you doing that? And I go, well, what do we need to do on a match day? Do we not need to think for ourselves if something happens that we've not predicted so they can adjust to it? So if we don't do adjusting to what we do in training or ask them to adjust to what they're doing, then they're not in the thinking process of actually changing the way or coping with them and the opposition and whether to deal with it or how not to deal with it. And I think that's what we do. That's where we overcoach. Because I've come from old school to modern and adjusted all the way through and want to be ahead of the game. But I've always looked at old school and say, this is relevant though. Mm. You shouldn't let that go.
Is that in your head when you're signing a player then? Like whether he takes responsibility?
Well, you can't have, if you have 11 leaders, you wouldn't be successful because they'd clash.
Get the balance.
The balance would clash, like you mean. So you got you got the leaders and then you got the followers, and good leaders with the ones who go along with them breed success. A bad leader, which is somebody you've upset, and somebody you've really, really upset could cause you a problem in the dressing room because he'll start recruiting.
Who's your best pound for pound signing?
In terms of success, it had to be JJ Koch.
How did you get that over?
Yeah, I'm going to say, with all due respect to Bolton, how the fuck did you do that?
You know what I mean?
Not just that one, either. There's a list.
But the biggest turnaround I felt, looking back on it, the biggest turnaround is agent. There's another thing, working with agents, very important, who work to your budget rather than work to just their own financial aspects. So I could get a deal done and spread over 3 years because I was in control of my budget, and I'd say to the agent, I can get that player, but I'd have to get this and I'd have to get that spread over 3 years and so on and so forth. And they would go, there's a player here, Sam, you're a York IF. Yeah, do me a favour.
Again, how the fuck did you do
You know
that?
what I mean? He said, no, look, listen, he's at Kaiserslautern and he's bombed out. And the French coach, this is the information you need, this is what good agents do for you. The French coach said, if you're not playing in the first team, you won't get in the World Cup squad at the end of the season. So I went, yeah, all right then. I said, let's arrange to go and meet him. Let's fly out to Germany and meet him midweek. I took the secretary with me, Simon Marland, as well as a few of the analyst lads. We put a few clips together about Bolton Stadium, about the Reebok. It was a great stadium, and where Bolton is. And of course, it's the Premier League, so they're all going to get paid well. So I sat down with Yuri and just said, like, this is who we are here. The lads will show you this, where we are. And Yuri just said, yeah, I'll come. But and then he got the 4 or 5 negotiators. I said, but this is only on loan. This is not a money move, Yuri. It's not a money move. I know what your situation is. This is a move for you to come and play first team football. So, it's only a short term. We paid him probably more than anybody else. But it was only from now till the end of the season. So it was probably 16 games or something like that. I thought he'd struggle.
Just physical presence.
Yeah. And he hadn't played for like a month or so, 2 weeks. Naturally fit, slotted in. And we learnt a lot talking to him and where he'd been and all the clubs he'd been at. What was it like there? Like, was it like in Italy? What was it like?
On the lifestyle stuff, the
nutrition and the club itself. What did the club do? How did it do it? And we wanted to know where we were. Was there anything they did that we weren't doing? Like, I mean, so Yuri kept us up, or Freddie Bobic and the others, and Yuri went off and played in the World Cup, and then rang up and said, "Can I come back?" And then we knew we'd got something.
Yeah, knew you were doing something right.
We went, whoa, here we go.
Can I come
so
back?
we give him a 3
Yes, you can, Yuri.
We give him a 3-year contract, and we went away and said, Fernando Hierro, we've got Yurioka here.
Yeah.
Come and join us. You Ivan Campo, come and join us. Speedo, come and join us. Stelios Yanakopoulos, Jufi, you know what I mean? JJ, Nicholas Anelka in the end, Vincent, nobody mentions him. We got Vincent Candela, French World Cup winner in the last season. But JJ was a particularly interesting story. It's sad that I'm always doing this though, going back to Bolton and really nowhere else. But you can understand that that's nearly all my life. You know what I mean? So my agent rang me, said, "I've arranged for a meeting with JJ Okocha in Charles de Gaulle Airport." So, why? He said, "Well, he's on a free." I said, "Oh, all right then."
Why there?
All right, let's go. So we went to see JJ in Charles de Gaulle Airport, and it's just before he's going to the World Cup. He's wanted to come to play in the Premier League like they all do, which is great now because he went. So he said, I'll see how we're going. I'll go and play in the World Cup, and when I come back, I'll see what's." So we thought, well, we've sort of introduced ourselves, like, know where we are. Comes back from the World Cup. He rings up and said, nobody's come for him yet, So we went to see him again in Charles de Gaulle, and he had no agent. We were like, "Where's your agent? Don't need one." I went, wow. Now that's bloody impressive. Like, when they don't have an agent. So we talked about everything. We talked about the money, and he said, "Yeah, I'll come." I said, "Oh, right, okay." So I said, "What are you going to do?" He says, "Oh, I said, I'll drive there tomorrow." I went, "You are?" He said, "Yeah, I'll drive." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Do you not want to stay overnight and fly with us?" Because I'm saying I want to keep him in the hotel and fly tomorrow before something else might happen. You know what I mean? Because I'd had a couple of players in my time that were supposed to land in Manchester, and when they landed in Manchester, some other agent picked them up and drove them somewhere else. You know what I mean? So he drove all the way from Paris to Bolton the day after, and that's when we signed him on.
Don't know.
I know. I'm just expecting like carpool
Like,
pillars
yeah.
and that. Pillars and bed sheets and
How'd
stuff.
you get him? Like, but he's so good. They named him twice, obviously. That was his nickname at Bolton Wanderers. The fans took really well to that. They sorted out like me. But I didn't realise how good a personality he was and how good a leader he was, because we made him captain, and he managed to lead the team on and off the field as well, but particularly on the field with his ability. So,
did you ever have to reel him in?
No.
With his
occasionally
tricks
I said, don't do it. Don't, please, not in your own half.
Please.
Please.
Did you?
I mean, sometimes he did it in his own half and he'd look over at me like that.
Just going back to that joke I have, we know when you said took you a while to negotiate, was it not just a case of, right, he's on X amount at the club that he's at, just take his contract over?
No.
What sort of other stuff do, like, at that level, what do they ask for?
Well, there's always at the end of it the agent's fee, which is something that it's on your loan, so you're not going to be wanted to pay too much. We would scale. In Yuri's case, we would try, or most cases, we'd try and scale the basic down, and have a staying up bonus, so it's more lucrative for him to succeed and better for us. Because if we're paying him that, it's because we've stayed up. I used to work out with Simon that in the end would be more than what he was asking for just in a basic to come. And we can pay more money because we're going to get all this money next year, all these millions on top of, how many places you finish. I mean, we finished about, first year when Yuri came, I think we finished about, was it 11th or 12th? So there's like 1 million or 2 each place in the league that you get extra, like you mean. So you could afford to incentivise that particular just loan spell by making it the overall package, if we stayed up, were greater than what he had actually asked for.
How did you get the best out of Jufi?
We had a problem with other members of staff over Jufi, not because of his antics.
When you say antics, just
on and off the field, more off the field than on. I mean, he had a couple of incidents in his life, and he was spitting and that, didn't he? It was about fathering him, for me. It's about like a father figure type stuff, like, you mean, come on.
Clip round the ear.
Yeah, what you doing? Like, I mean, you can't keep stopping in Paris and having a night out when you're coming back from international duty. You can't keep telling us the flight doesn't come back till... I said, he just doesn't. I said, we checked up, you can get the flight back straight away, so stop it, like, I mean, you're gonna end up getting fined, like, you mean, you won't have
telling lies.
You won't have no money left.
El Hadj.
You'll have no money left, like, I mean, if you keep doing that, because this is another scenario. When we researched England rugby and they won the World Cup. One of the things that they had what's called a Bible then, what we expect with each other, where when we go in representing the club, representing yourself, so a code of conduct, right? We had to print this code of conduct in about 4 different languages as well, by the way. So if you're not reporting an injury, if you're getting back too late from international duty and we catch you, it's a fine. So at the start of the season, they all get the booklet in their own language and they've all signed it. So when they complain to the PFA, they're getting fined. The PFA come and say, you can't fine them. I say, you can, because it's in the code of conduct.
Yeah.
So Gordon and his mob, off you go. It's there. They've signed for it. You know what I mean? Sometimes they might think it's too harsh. Sometimes I'd give a little bit and say, all right, I'll knock 50% off or whatever. And so you've got to have a discipline. Jufi was always testing the discipline. But on the field, the exercise was, we will sit down, all you were moaning about him, I get it. I know how difficult he is.
Is this the other players as well?
Some of them, yeah. He'd wind them up, Jufi. He'd really wind up Merchant. But I'd say, we'll have this column on what he gives us. We'll have this on this column, what problems we have with him. So if we get to the end of this column, and this column is bigger than that column, we're keeping him. So you all shut up and get on with it. But obviously it was, like, I mean. So he paid 12 million at Liverpool, and we got Jufi for 2. We had him on loan for a year and then kept him, which was our policy on recruitment, because some of the players we didn't know a lot about. We went on their ability that they'd achieved at the other club, because they'd also played at a high level. Bruno Ngotti, for instance, played for us for 3 years. We got him on from France, but he'd been to Italy, played at Italy, and paid a lot of money for him. You know what I mean? We got him relatively cheap. Yuri, it was about personalities. It wasn't about his ability. We knew that. Did we think we could get him here and he could? No. What we found was, when all the press and all that were going, because we had a load of stick about the size of our staff and about signing. What they said was old players. Well, Yuri was old. Fernando Hierro was old. Speedo was old, and past his 30s. But all the rest were under 30. But that never got mentioned. Mercenaries, they called them. They're only here for the money. Like those players lifted the level and standard of the football club by the fact that they did not want to embarrass themselves with the reputation they built for themselves elsewhere. Because you talk about World Cup winners and Champions League winners, and they're coming playing at Bolton. We're never going to win the Champions League. We might get in the Champions League, but we're probably never going to win it. They didn't want to fail. So all this outside influence about they're just mercenaries and they're only come for the money was actually a load of nonsense.
Did you see some of them, what's the term, like problem players?
Well, there were some that didn't work, like, you know.
I was going to say, do you see him as a bit of a challenge? Because I'm thinking Anelka came with a bit of a check.
He did,
sticked off him, a bit of a check past.
Was the last big one, but Nicholas had grown up.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, we met him in Charles de Gaulle Airport as well.
But he didn't drive.
No, he didn't know.
Was it seen as a risk, that one? You know, from other clubs not touching him?
I didn't think so after I'd met him. His reputation stopped him going back to a bigger club, I think. Right, and I just said to him in Charles de Gaulle, come to Bolton, and if you do what you normally do, and know what you can do, somebody will come and buy you, and we'll sell you. Because if somebody comes and pays the right amount of money, the board will tell me I've got to sell you.
Did he go to Chelsea?
Yeah. What in the early stages, what we always feared, or what the staff always feared, is what we were doing. Will they like it? Because we're doing some stuff they'd probably never done before, but they all bought into it.
Thing is, if Pilates,
yoga, sports science, psychology, stats, nutrition. You know what I mean?
It sounds like everything you almost get.
In a football club.
Heart rate monitors. There's a funny story, because we had Ian Marshall. Remember Ian Marshall?
Yeah.
Marshy, what a character he was. We had him the year we got promoted, and he still lived in Leicester. He used to say, like, you know, can I come in on Thursday or something like that? What do you mean? I've got to go home. I've been here all week. I say, yeah, all right. Like, but the lads would say, take your heart monitor with you. And they came back and give the lads the heart monitor, and called him in and said, what have you been doing? What do you mean? He said, well, this heart monitor, you'd be dead. And he admitted he put it on the dog. Honestly, I couldn't stop laughing when they put it on.
Fair enough.
I said to Marty, brilliant, mate, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I'm just imagining him sat in a beer garden like, oh, go on, sell the ball.
One of them plastic things.
He could change a game for you. Him,
Yeah.
Coming on a sub, put him on up front, and like, I mean, he could like beast them. You know what I mean? In the last 20 minutes, half an hour, you know, help you get a result. Like, I mean.
Couple of rumours at the time. Any truth in Rivaldo?
Oh, I met him in
Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle. Yeah.
No, he came over in the Lowry. Never really got close. Never got down to terms. And met Pep in Barcelona. We got Fernando Hierro when Pep didn't take up the offer.
Was there ever a player got kidnapped or something while you were?
There was a player got kidnapped, but I can't remember who it was now. He got taken somewhere, and I can't even remember what country it was.
Portugal?
This was in January, though, I think, and he could have kept him till the window shut and then took him back.
Who, the kidnappers?
Yeah. You've reminded me about that. I'm going to have to try and check up on that one.
So you wanted to sign someone and someone kidnapped him so he couldn't sign with you?
Yeah.
They kept him till the winning show. It's a long time to have the taste in your mouth, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, that. Bloody hell, I forgot about that.
Had you flown over to...
Were you
already
flown
there?
over and did the deal, yeah. I thought we'd done the deal and all that, and then come back and said he's gone missing. No, I don't think it was in the bad way. I just think it was in the way that another agent apparently had got upset about it because he thought he had the player. I mean, we'd always ask the player, who is your agent? Who is your agent? Chris Samber had 3 agents at bloody Blackburn. We found out he had to pay 3 bloody agents like an idiot.
So, like, do you know, like, I don't know, say you're signing player X and you want to give them 30 grand a week and they want 50. How do you get in? Is it like, go on then, it's 36 and a half.
We do, or try and do, appearance money. So we don't want to pay you 50 grand if you don't play. So we pay you 30 grand plus such and such an appearance, and then there's at that time there's a staying up bonus, and then after that, when we got better, there was extra bonuses for finishing in 6th or better, because that would get us into Europe, and the club would get us a lot more money. What we balanced out is, when I was doing the budget, is they used to say we'll have 7 appearances on Sky, and most of the time we'd end up with 10 or 12, and that'd be like another 400 grand, 500 grand each TV appearances. So in the end, our budget, because they always have to plan a budget, don't they, the accountants at the start. They plan that if we finish 10th, we'll earn this much money. Well, every budget they planned, I broke. So when I was always calculating, there's an extra 4 million there. Where is it? Which didn't go down too well. Like, I mean, shut up, I said, well, where's it gone? that could come to me and help build the team, like, I mean. So so that was always a bit of a challenge we had to sort of battle out, like, you can't always get what you want, to understand that, like, I mean, but occasionally when I've gone to the board and said, I've got no budget left, but I need you to find me some budget to get Yuri. And they do that. We work both ways on that, like you mean. So
it was a nightmare for owner. Well, is it 4 million? Where is it? I was hoping to get a summer house in Barbados, to be honest.
But it's like, it's gone into other parts of the club in terms of developing it or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So it was frustrating, but you can understand it, because they've got to look after the whole of the club.
Do you know, like, what we spoke about there, about you building these departments at Bolton, being in control of recruitment, staff that you're bringing in, how much control did you have at Newcastle?
Newcastle was just the right place at the wrong time. And I've got no qualms over Mike Ashley, because Mike Ashley just took the club over after Freddie Shepherd made me manager.
How long were you in? Couple of weeks?
Yeah, just 2-3 weeks at the most. So I had all this plan with Freddie, because Freddie was ambitious. For the first time I'd be getting something like, he said, £35 million budget, something like that. We've got to make a team, Sam, to go to get into Europe. Like, we've got to get into Europe, and if we can eventually get into the Champions League, and there'll be something like, well, I'd never had 2 and 6 before. You know what I mean? The most I spent was 8 million on Nicholas and Elka. We made more money than we spent on transfers when we'd see what we brought in and then what we sold, So this was going to be a big challenge. So we went through the whole package about who we're going to get rid of and who we're going to bring in. And then, unfortunately, the club got bought under Freddie's nose. Mike came in. So I had no idea what was going to happen then. So I needed 6 players, because we got rid of the ones that we talked about with Freddie and going to buy by the ones we felt we'd like I got a Modric on our list, Luka Modric and people like that, you know what I mean? It was about 12 million at the time, something like that. So that budget never happened. So I ended up selling some players, like Scott Parker didn't want to stay. Kieran Dyer didn't want to stay, so I ended up getting 12 million for them. So that's
more money in the pot.
But then I ended up signing players that there was some good ones, obviously. Mark Viduka, people like that, but they weren't big money to buy, but big money in wages, like I mean. And Alan Smith from Man United, he was 6 million, and then I had to try and build a team on some free transfers, or loans again, and that was always going to be difficult. But obviously, Mike was taking over the club and finding his feet. I just got on with it. And they were like, well, how do we do this or how do we do that? Like, I'm going, well, secretary knows, chief exec knows, but they got rid of him as well. And they put his assistant in charge. And so everything was like up in the air. And I'm battling away to get a team together for Newcastle United, a squad capable of delivering for these fans. Because Speedo had rang me and said, Gaffer, look, whenever you sign a player for Newcastle, he's got to be able to handle it in St James's Park, he said, because if they're good, it's great. If they're not so good, it's brutal for them. And that was the reason Scott Parker wanted to leave. He said, I can't stay here. The fans don't like me. I can't cope. So that's why we sold him sold him to West Ham at the time.
And so have you started building everything that you've built at Bolton in terms of all the background stuff, everything?
Well, I mean, most of the staff followed me after a lot of aggravation from Mr. Gartside at Bolton. And so I built the staff at Newcastle in less than 6 months. That took me 3.5 years at Bolton. So they all came, and we got off to a fabulous start. I always knew it was too much, though. We got 18 points in the first 10 games. Of that, I don't know, maybe 6th in the league. And then we played Portsmouth at home and got battered. And then the fans just flipped on that stage. It was like they were waiting for something.
Yeah.
And then Viduka got injured. Michael Owen got injured. So the front two, I mean, I could have, if those two had stayed fit, I could have survived the first year with them two.
Yeah,
because they'd have scored enough goals to keep us top half, but they got too many injuries. Like I mean, so
was it 8 months you got? Was it 8-9 months?
Yeah, I got January, wasn't it, when I went?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't to be. Like I mean, so that's why I said it was the right place at the wrong time. Because with Freddie, Freddie'd been chasing me for about 3 seasons. So he offered me the job before Suey got it. And then Glenn Roder got it, and then I came in. I came after that. But that was only after Man City was going to give me the job. They were going to let Stuart Pearce go, and I was going to get the job. And the owners then were Dave Macon and John Wardle, who owned JD Sports at the time. So they said, will you come and manage Man City? And I said, yeah, no problem. I look forward to it. And then at the end of the season, they said, Sam, we're very, very sorry, but Mr. Shinawatara's bought the club and he wants Sven. So I had to just sit and wait, and then Newcastle came in.
At that time, was it all about finding a club that matched your ambitions? Because I'm assuming at Bolton,
I think it was
a point you got as far as you can go.
It was trying to implement into, and it's not all the same. You can't do it exactly the same from one club to another. In the early days, I learned that because all what I did at Blackpool, I tried to do at Notts County, and it never worked the same. So it's always adapting your ability to the football club and the level and the standard of the football club. So you've done all that at Blackpool, we missed out by 1 point, Blackpool getting promoted. But we changed the club from a fourth from bottom club to a playoff club, and really should have got promoted that year, but bottled it. But some of the stuff I did there was at Notts County didn't work what we did at Blackpool, so it made me more adaptable to what will work. So a back three came into play.
Did you take that to Newcastle, were you?
Or no, Newcastle was back 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2 I tried because I wanted Viduka and Owen up front.
So that was looking at the players that you've got and going your formation based on
and then I had to change that to, to try and adjust to stop conceding too many goals. There's times in your life where you're in the right place at the right time, and there's times in your life that you're not. So nobody in the world expected Newcastle to be sold. It broke Freddie Shepherd's heart. Sir John Hall selling his shares under his nose, because apparently Freddie told me that Sir John Hall was guaranteed that Freddie would have first dibs at buying his shares. And he didn't, he just sold them to Mike.
Now then, it goes without question that we are beyond excited to be teaming up with O'Neills Sportswear for this coming series. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the all-new Undr The Cosh Custom 2024-25 season kit is available now. And I'm assuming, if you've got eyes, you want to know where you can get one from. Well, there's a link in the description with all the designs, all the sizes, kids sizes, adult sizes, big lad sizes, small lad sizes, all the sizes. And not just that, there's another link in the description to take you straight through to O'Neills Sportswear, where you can support us by supporting them in getting your own custom, bespoke design kit for your team, for your club, for your mates. Quick delivery, low minimum order, and unbelievable quality. Can you imagine walking out with your team in a custom shirt of that quality? Well, you might as well write your name on trophy.
Did any of the so-called the top six, have you had any sniffs of getting that job? And if not, did it frustrate you? The fact, like this long ball tag.
Well, I think that definitely played a part. To talk about, when listen to the players I just told you about. Do you think we played long ball with them? You know what I mean? It happened in the early stages to survive. Like I mean, but by the latter stages, it'd be like it would depend. It would depend who we were playing. But the old game has changed now. I plan to play a game of football against the opposition, and I determined on our plan on whether we're good enough to go and beat them playing this way, or we can beat them because they're better than us, but we can frustrate them and play counter-attacking football, if you like, or play a different system, or upset them in this area. It's got to be tippy-tappy football. That's why I named my podcast No Tippy-Tappy Football. Runs every week. It's the emphasis on the fact that I watched games at the weekend and go, I can't believe what you're doing.
I can dispel that myth, the long ball myth.
Match of the day. I listened to Match of the Day on Southampton.
Yeah.
And they're going, he's trying to find the spare man. He's trying to find the spare man. He's trying to find the spare man. Goal. He's trying to find the spare man. He's trying to find the spare man. Goal. And I'm going, when was this right? When did this become the only way to play? Because that was never taught to me, and it was never taught to any of the other managers that I know. Even as I'd say as Sir Alex Ferguson, because we all know you lose the ball in your own half is where most goals are scored. So then I did West Ham, Man City, and they go, Haaland, brilliant, but look where the first two goals come from. Nipped off the West Ham defenders or the midfield players in the final third. Pass, Haaland, goal. Pass, Haaland, goal. So it's like
Casemiro Sunday.
Yeah, suicidal. Look, Man City can play it all day because they're great at it. And so can Liverpool in their own way. They're great at it. If you're playing out from the back and the team you're playing is one of the best high pressers in the league, how can you consider that's your tactic? I think I'm going mad here. I'm going potty because the coach at Southampton saying we'll carry on this way whether we success or fail. So you're coaching your players how to fail because they can't cope with it. What does the fan want?
Results.
Yeah. And what does he like?
Winning.
And how does he like it winning? By excitement in the opposition's box. How quick can you get there and how often can you create that excitement by putting good balls in the opposition's box as often as possible? What are we doing? 45 passes in midfield. Sideways, backwards. I mean, Ray Wilkins, God rest his soul, got called the crab for doing that. He got slaughtered by the fact he plays so many balls sideways and backwards. It's ineffective. But now it's the right way to play. Playing a ball to a centre half in his 6-yard box. and this is the best bit. This is how clever managers are. Didn't they try and play the right way? Oh, you've got to give them credit. They tried to play the right way. And just got done 3-0. And I'm going, what is all this bullshit? Who's listening to all this bullshit? He just sucked you in. Oh, well done. I said, I'm not having any of that. I want them calling me. I want them saying, oh, God almighty, when you were playing like that, because we've upset him, because we've won. We weren't supposed to beat him, were we? So what excuse are they going to make? Oh, it's the way they play. Bollocks. The way we play. We just outdid you. And then
Who was the biggest biter?
And then you
Arsene?
go, well, Arsene and Benitez, particularly. So then you go, so you look at the papers and you go, and Liverpool had an off day. And Man United had an off day. And Tottenham had an off day. And whoever big team we were, Chelsea have had an off day. Tactically we'd done them on the day. We'd done them. They couldn't deliver. They couldn't cope with ours. Our tactics paid off because we destroyed their strengths and we exposed the weaknesses on the day. And we were very, very clever at it. But it's not, oh, what a great performance. It's, oh, Liverpool had an off day. And it's because we made them have an off day. They couldn't cope with our tactics and couldn't get round to use the talents that they've got because we blocked it off. And what we did was we sucked them into so we could expose their weaknesses. But credit, Crystal Palace won at Liverpool. No, Pred. This is to keep us up. We didn't win at Liverpool away. We won at Chelsea. Chelsea won the league that year on Conte. We beat Arsenal at home 3-0. And those three big results were the three biggest results in helping us stay in the Premier League.
Which did you take more satisfaction from, these escapes? You look at Sunderland, Palace, Everton. Which you look at, you think that was practically mission impossible, but I did it. We did it.
Well, I think that Crystal Palace was a start where everybody said that, you know, Sam's past it, like, you mean, because I didn't win till January. We won away at Bournemouth, our first win in 6, and they were all saying, Sam's not, Sam's past it now. He's not, he looks tired, or, he looks this or that. You know what I mean? And what I'd done is with Steve Parish, and this is the relationship I've had with the owners, and how important it is. They helped me. Ellis Short helped me. The club stay up. Steve Parish helped me. John Williams helped me at Blackburn. You know what I mean? Farhad Bashiri helped me at Everton. They all helped me. They tried to help me at West Brom, but it didn't quite get there. it didn't quite. I couldn't get any help at Leeds because there was no transfer window. Getting the help from the owners is all you can ask for. And when you've got that, you can't complain about what happens after that. It's down to you. And so when you achieve it at the end, their satisfaction's as great as yours because they know they've helped and saying, well, without you getting that, finding that money or buying them players, we wouldn't have done it together.
I mean, he gets slaughtered, Ellis Short in Sunderland.
Not with me.
In that window, was it 20 million he gave you?
Yeah.
I think
four players made what a huge amount of difference. Huge amount. And then Jermaine Defoe up front on his own. 18 goals.
I think they're in the bottom three for 237 days of that season. Yeah. And then I think it was the Everton game, wasn't it? That's
2-2 at Liverpool. It was one of the starts. What's it come on before he got put in prison? Johnson. He scored an equaliser. That was the start. Then we beat Man United at home. Then
was it a slow process at Sunderland? Yeah. Was it a slow burn?
Slow burn, yeah. And it's about your work you do, the constant work you do, and getting the players to believe in you. And that's all that. It's all that stuff that I learnt at Bolton. You're going to get all the stats. You're going to get all the visuals. You're going to get all the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're going to have to adjust to it because we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to play this way against them. We're going to have to play that way against them because that's the only chance we've got of getting a result. And then when you start getting results, it builds the confidence. And when the confidence builds, then, the belief comes back. And when you've got a goal scorer, I mean, I beat Chelsea at home, remember? Mm-hmm. Went 1-0 down, 1-0, 2-1 down, 2-2, 3-2. The whole place erupted.
That Everton game was one of the best atmospheres I've seen.
Yeah.
Because I think Newcastle got relegated as well, didn't they?
We
sent
did,
Newcastle down.
Yeah. Well, we beat Newcastle at their old place. That was my second game. And we drew 1-1. We went 1-0 up. But then drew 1-1 at St James's.
Did you like it up there in Sunderland?
Yeah.
Was that the only job that you'd have left for? The England?
Yeah. Well, they're saying that if somebody bigger than Sunderland come for him, I'd have to think about it, wouldn't I? I would have turned that down. But
was that the first time England had come calling?
No. Come at Bolton. No, Bolton was me or Steve McLaren, and Steve got the pip.
Did you have the interview?
Two. I did 2 interviews for then.
What's the process? Did somebody from the FA just get in touch with you, your agent?
A bit like if you go for a job at a football club, a bit more intense. You need a bit more background to how you're going to deal with an international coming up.
Did you get the briefcase out as well to look?
No, that had gone long gone. That's still at home, tucked away in a cupboard now. Presentation. Got to laptop then. And then again, you see me. I want a laptop presentation, but I can't do it. So I find somebody who's technically whiz kid and say, look, I want you to do this for me. So I can just put this is what I want. This is how I want it. This is how I'm going to do it. So I've got it now. Practice. Whether I'm doing it with the clicker or whether I'm doing it on my laptop, practice just moving it forward. So because there's so many managers got a job on a laptop today. It's unbelievable.
Who else was in the running when you did get it? Do you know?
Don't know. I'm not sure. The rumours are about, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Was that the proudest moment of your career?
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about it.
And do you know when you're England manager, how much of it, you're going to watch these games, do you know in your head who you've got in line, the formation you're going to play, what kind of football you're going to play, who you want to play in these positions? I
had Sammy Lee with me, who's been with England forever and a day. He's one of the most experienced England coaches England have ever had. So Sammy's given us a rundown on his experience of when he's been in with the other managers, and what to expect, So I've got great knowledge but it's just about giving them enough information, but not too much, and not giving them too much cabin fever.
Do you think you could have taken your team bonding things with you?
Yeah. Oh, we had a couple of meetings and that, but just on the first time, you don't go too heavy and don't go too far. You know what I mean? You just talk about. I just chat with the players, really.
Getting to know
Some managers decide not to talk. So it depends on some managers decide not to communicate and be distant and aloof or whatever it is. Like, I'll come up and go, let's say Leeds, like, you mean, you walk in, break the ice, like, you mean, how much did you spend on them teeth? Full set of white, I think it was $4,000. So, I hope it wasn't turkey.
Did you used to get on the mic at Blackburn?
Yeah.
Was it Stephen Warnock? So there was a PA, and everybody used to get a bit of stick on the way in.
Well, just now and again.
Did you feel like there was a witch hunt from day one from the media perspective?
No, not particularly. I think that the only problem is the invasion, isn't it? The invasion of your privacy. Everything, they go back to where you were born. They're going round and knock at your mates' houses and knock at your parents' houses, or if they're still alive.
Just digging for stuff. I mean, I don't really know too much about the stitch up, and I don't know if you want to speak about it, but what was the...
No, not now. Anyway, look, it still haunts me, and it always will, like you mean. But the only thing I can say is, I didn't get the opportunity to say, there's nothing wrong here. So if I'd have had my time all over again, I would have refused to go and meet the FA unless I had my lawyer with me. If I'd have had my lawyer with me, I might still be there.
Yeah.
Should we get back to these Dubai trips then?
Let's do that.
How fucking incredible were they? Well, and basically, have you gone to the lads, we'll might have a little stretch and a jog or whatever, but lads, just crack on.
Well, the opportunity to take the lads to Dubai is this: you do not get into trouble. I'll tell you why you don't get into trouble, because I won't be able to get you out of jail.
Yeah.
Even I can't get it out of here.
Yeah, right. So you do anything wrong here, you will go to jail. I'm telling you. So do not enjoy yourself. But so we had a release for a day or two when they got there, and then the day after, and then after that would be like, chill out, take it easy, but like stay off the booze now and just enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy being together, enjoy going out together. Go and do what you want. Do the desert run, play golf, sunbathe, get in the spa. I mean, they've got the best spas in the world. Like, and then they say, who's paying? And you go, you're tight, buddy. You know what I mean? Can't you pay for a massage, you tight? You know what I mean? There's always one or two, like, you mean? So like, we do all that, like, you mean? So they're chilled out and relaxed, and the bonding side of it.
I think, by the way, it's incredible. Like, obviously, not just the thing, but I think that is very much needed.
The bonding side is everything, and you've got a whole group of internationals, foreign players from different countries that have to bond together and feel it for each other. So that's your responsibility is for them to. They don't all of them get on. I mean, I've had a few fights in my time. We've had to part, but I mean,
well, you've got at the end of the day, it's a group of 20-odd-year-old lads off the leash, innit?
It is.
Mm-hmm. There is a risk.
Just behave yourself. Do not under any. Otherwise, we'll never be able to come back again. It would finish the trip.
And I think it's a trust thing from both sides as well, isn't it?
And I'd say to captain, whatever you do, don't lose the first game back. Because if you lose the first game, What a waste of money that was. Oh, he takes him away. What happens? He bloody lose. Like, I mean, it's not about that next game. It's about the next 15 or 20 games at the end of it, what do you achieve? But it's very important to say to them, lads, like, come on, don't just go out there and get a point, or go out there and win even, that's it. And then everybody's gone, oh, that's been all right, that trip, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's, you know, it's done them good, hasn't it? Like, and I'm talking about the owners here, by the way, having to go at you.
Yeah.
Not the fans. Sometimes I haven't been away because we haven't managed to do it for one reason or another. So I've gone, win today, you can come in Thursday. What? So if you win today, you can come in Thursday. You can't believe the lads going out and playing with that one.
Just find that little bit more.
Oh, just like them, like captains going around.
We're not until Thursday.
It's that time of the year, like where they're thinking about like coming in to the end, like we're coming in training again, like we're in, you know, and you go, come on, win today, come in Thursday. So they won.
I can imagine you got results then. Yeah.
So, and then the cheeky bugger said, like, can we do the same again? Yeah, go on then. I mean, there was one spell at Bolton, I think second year or third year, we did about 5 games, I think, on the trot.
See you Thursday.
So, and all the physios and all the fitness coaches, and you can't do that. You can do it once, but you can't keep doing it. They go, so what the stats look like? Are we getting anybody injured? Because if they're injured, they have to come in. They can't have a day off. They have to come in for treatment. So is anybody injured?
They can always back it up, can't they?
Is anybody injured?
Stats.
No.
Yeah.
Is the fitness levels going down? No.
What was the result?
What was the result? Yeah, we won. Okay, shut up then.
Ginge told us about the...
I understand that they're trying to do the job. They're trying to say, look, you might lose this because they're really professional. Like, I mean, the lads that I've had have always been really, really professional. I've always trusted them to do what I expect them to do, not for me to over micromanage. For me to support you, not to like overlook you. I mean, there's obviously occasions where, you know, I just call them in and sack them and just bomb them off, especially the bad ones. But that's the ruthless part of it. Find out which one it is. And
Have you had many bad ones?
a few. I've had a few. If that's a staff member or a player, just it's got to go.
We spoke about Juvie. Who's the most challenging player you've had to work with?
Well, Mario Jardel, Brazilian international, played in Greece and Portugal. 200 goals in 365 games, Brazilian international.
At Porto?
Yeah, Porto, yeah. Party animal.
Good night in Manchester, though, isn't it?
Party animal. Parties and more parties. Oh.
Which is fine if he was doing it.
Yeah, he couldn't cope. I found that a striker over 30 coming to Premier League for the very first time would be too much of a struggle.
Mm.
The physical attributes of a player in the Premier League is far greater than anywhere else.
At least he had a good kick at ball away. At least he enjoyed himself.
Did you just fuck him off then? Did you just have to
managed to get rid of him and sell him to, I don't know where we sold him to, but we managed to sell him off somewhere.
I remember the hype.
Mario Jardel.
Yeah.
Party animal. He was. And then one lad, I can't remember his name now, I'm glad to say, refused to play in the position I asked him to play in.
Which club?
Bolton. I'm not playing there. I said, well, don't play then. So I won't. And I thought he'll play there. And he just went home.
I'll fucking show
It
you.
wasn't Semi, was it? Semi spoke about it. John had Semabor.
Maybe.
He came on loan. I think he came on loan from Liverpool to you. And he's right back, but he's playing right wing or like right of a 3. But I don't know. I don't think he said, I'm not playing that. I don't think he...
No, it wasn't him.
Yeah.
James Collin told us about the trip to Dubai, about him getting clocked by Andy Carroll.
No, that wasn't Dubai.
Was it not?
No, that was pre-season.
Was it?
It was the last game, and I just said, you can have a night out. as usual, Andy, having had too much to drink, got rather aggressive with Ginger. I thought Ginger was going to miss the start of the season. I'm glad to say Ginger didn't hold a grudge, though.
Yeah.
Which was, could have been a problem, like, I mean.
Is that one of them as well where you don't want that getting back to the board, papers, fans?
No. I dealt with Andy when he got back. He got back and said, like, but it's not one unusual for Andy. He's done that at Newcastle. Not when I was there, did it to, I can't remember the centre half of Newcastle.
Stevie Taylor,
yeah. Broke his jaw.
Mm.
He was such an awesome talent that should have, but for injuries, would have played more for England without a doubt. Because he was one of those that didn't get the credit for his ability on the deck. His touch and his awareness and his incredible ability to score goals, not just like crosses and headers, but,
Kevin Nolan, the best captain you've had, just in terms of that relationship?
I think so. I think he took over from I mean, you imagine him taking over from JJ Okocha, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's 24, Kevin. 25. Flourished with it, like, flourished with it.
Yeah.
He'd learnt an awful lot off, all the big boys he'd played with. Because he's playing with Yuri and JJ and all them in his early 20s.
I suppose that's a big part for you later on as well at West Ham, that you can trust him.
Well, I mean, he dropped a division to come and play for me at West Ham. He left Newcastle.
Yeah.
I was forever grateful on David Sullivan buying him for me. Didn't pay much for him because he was in the last year of his contract, but he actually, we'd spent most of the time getting rid of players. West Ham, I got rid of about 18. Getting rid of the players that didn't want to stay here, like Scott Parker and people like that, wanted to go back to the Premier League. But all the other clubs were trying to get a price for him, try to pinch him. And David Sullivan was adamant that it had to be that price, so we just had to hang out. I said to Scott Parker and his agent, look, you get somebody to pay that price, you can leave. If you don't bother coming to me. And only go to David and he'll say no. Apart from some that didn't renew the contract, there was about 18 shifted and we got about 12 in. And had a great season there. I mean, winning in Wembley, something else. Ricardo Vazte and all, because I'd had him as a kid at Bolton.
Yeah.
So
I think that might have been the end of my Cardiff career. That the first game we beat you 1-0 Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I was sub, and we got Rudy Gested, and he was in total. Nobody knew who we were. We signed him that summer as on trial, and he came on and set the goal up, and all our benches gone mad, and I'm just sat there like that. And Malcolm Mackay looked at me and he just fucking shook his head. I think that was me done at Cardiff after that day. No wonder he fucking hated us. I'm thinking, last thing gone on.
You sulky bastard.
No, magic. Did you used to have a few tear-ups with Kev, though, Nolan?
Occasionally, he'd stick up for himself, but, it was few and far between. I had more trouble with Andy than I had ever with Kevin.
In the changing room or off? Is this off the pitch?
Both, more off the field than.
Was that a similar thing, though, like a father relationship with someone as well?
You couldn't get through to Andy. He'd be all right for a while, and then he'd just go. You go off the scale.
So if you got through a weekend with no phone call, you were like, thankful.
Thank God for that. Yeah, he had a palata fascia injury, and the big decision was to sign him or not full time. And they paid 30 million for him, and we were getting him for something like 12 million. We took all the expert advice on how long it would take to cure this injury, because it's a rare injury for a player, palata fascia. That's the tendon that runs down here. Right. So it's talking about in a boot and rest. So I'm going, do we sign him or don't we? Do we sign him or don't we? And I've gone, David Sullivan's going, do you sign him or don't you? Do you sign him or don't you? I said, well, it's a great price. And he said, yeah, but So I got the experts, which are so-called experts, physio specialist and all that. When's he going to be fit? What do you mean? And they've gone, well, it's hard to tell because it's a very unusual injury for a professional footballer, but it's basically the rest is the key element. So we signed him. So next thing, phone call. Have you seen what Andy's doing? What? Las Vegas Batman outfit dancing? No, something like that, Batman outfit. And I've gone, so we've got this video sent in and I've gone, oh, God.
Did he have his boot on, though?
Jesus. Yeah, still had his boots on, like, but he's dancing with his boot, like, and I've gone, what are you doing, you stupid idiot? Like,
Are you on the phone at that point?
on the phone, no, I waited till he come back and said, like, you stupid idiot.
Put the bat signal out.
I mean,
yeah.
And then
that landing on Vegas. Oh, fuck.
Gaffer nose.
On me, yeah.
And then we got to start of the season where he looked like he was going to get fit. And I got a phone call from physio saying it's gone again. I went, oh, God, no. My life's going to be hell now. So in all fairness to David Sullivan, he sent him away to get treatment. He's in Holland. For physio, Stinney, our physio at the time, from Belgium, he said there's a place in Holland we can send him to. And even then he came sneaking back to England.
Do you think overall he justified the fee?
Well, I mean, without him, we might not have stayed in the Premier League in the first season.
Did you do a bar chart?
You know what I mean? Yeah,
What's the results?
We did all that when he played. This is how many points we got, but we're just keeping him. And you just couldn't get Andy to conform, to really focus on himself. He's one of those, he's old school. He wanted to come in, do his training, go home. Wanted to come and play on a Saturday, then go home. That's it. I just want to play football.
He's still going. He's still playing, isn't he?
France.
France, fair play to him.
Oh, yes, what a player. What a player. I mean, he's awesome. But Mark Noble was one I should mention because he was just unbelievable. Nobes. Mr. West Ham through and through. Absolutely brilliant.
Did he ever have the chance to leave?
I think he had over the time, not while I was there. I was never going to let him leave. So even if he'd have asked me, I think he talked about it when they got relegated. And they, but they were a bit of a yo-yo club, West Ham, weren't they?
Did you struggle with many players getting too big time? They've started doing well.
Robert, the hardest player I dealt with was Ravel Morrison, one of the hardest
at
West Ham, because he just wasn't capable of being a full-time professional mentally. I think he was diagnosed with ADHD, though, in fairness to him, so I wouldn't say it was his fault. So as much as we tried to deal with it, he wouldn't.
And a lot have tried as well, haven't they?
A lot have tried, yeah. I always said to David Sullivan, if Alex can't sort him out, how do you think we can?
Yeah.
But there was a spell where he was he scored a goal at Tottenham away, picked it up in his own half, dribbled past 5 and chipped it over Lores. Which was a big win for West Ham against Tottenham.
Because there was a spell when I thought that probably about this time that the penny had dropped. You were playing him and he was playing well, and then
just lost it again. Like he ended up back in Manchester, and we had no idea where he was. And they'd see him on Instagram or Facebook and say he's in Manchester. We're supposed to be here training. Ravel went missing one Christmas once, and Mark Noble said he was back at home having Christmas dinner with his family. We were on the coach ready to go to our game away, I think it was. Because I let him have Christmas Day off with the families. I used to get brought in on Christmas Day and I used to hate it. Why are we coming in?
I know, I would say.
You know what I mean? So I always said to players, listen, if you want me to trust you, I'll let you have Christmas Day off. If you take the mickey out of me, then you'll never have Christmas Day off again. So then we meet up at night and then get ready for the game. We're waiting on the coach, and Nobe says his gaffer, no point waiting for him, he's in Manchester with his family.
Does it just get the point where you give up?
Players give up on him as well.
Yeah.
Didn't want him around. He knackered then.
It's having a knock-on effect.
Nobby came in and said, we can't do with him anymore, gaffer.
How do you look back on Leeds? We had loads of Leeds.
Well, I mean, it's a wonderful place. I mean, I wanted it before they give it to Garcia. I know the chief executive at Leeds, the chief exec, but he didn't have the ultimate decision. They had a director of football, and he gave it to one of his Spanish friends, Garcia. That was with 12 games or 13 games to go. And then they sacked him, and the chief exec who I knew, Alistair, rang me up and said, will you do 4 games for us? I know it's a lot to ask. I said, go, I will. Yeah, why not? So give it a go.
Did you go in there with the same principles, though? Get these lads smiling?
It was more about cheering up. The biggest disappointment about Leeds was their fitness had gone from hero to zero.
Since Bielsa leaving?
Bielsa leaving, yeah. In less than 12 months, they'd gone from top of the tree to third from bottom. 2 previous coaches had completely destroyed the fitness level of the team.
We had loads asking about Rutter, why he didn't play Rutter.
Good enough.
It's not fancy.
That's answered that.
He's just gone to Brighton for 40 million. So is he just not bothered his ass with you?
Just wasn't. I just couldn't believe they'd paid that much money for him. Under the circumstances, he's too young, and coming in and playing in a struggling side in the Premier League that young was a lot to ask. We somehow survived at Man City and scored a goal late on and got to 2-1 and like, I've never seen Man City panic as much in the entire time I played them. They were running balls in the corner for the last 5-10 minutes, just in case we scored another.
Was that did you do an interview before or something?
I said I'm just as good as them, yeah. So I'm not better, but I'm just as good. So I did that because I wanted to shift the emphasis off the players. Fergie told me this, Sam, when you're struggling, you take the emphasis off your players and focus it on yourself. So how can I take the emphasis off the players? So I thought, I'll just blow my own trumpet. Then obviously there's a lot of people in the punditry world who just didn't get it. Just didn't get it. Like, I mean, there's no idea what it was all about. Like, so how daft they are, you know, how easy they are to wind up. But there's all the focus is on me now and not the players. They can focus on the game because they'd got enough stick.
Yeah.
But the biggest game and the biggest turning point was not beating Newcastle in the next game. With a man sent off and give a penalty away. I believe if we'd have won that game, we'd have had a better chance. We couldn't maintain or sustain our level.
I think this is fitness levels then, or
I just couldn't believe it because I thought if we've got the fitness levels that they used to have, we will definitely have a chance. Because if we can stay in the game, they used to win a game in the last 5 minutes, Leeds, because they could out-sustain the fitness level of the opposition and then overrun them when they were tired. Because they weren't just fatigued as the opposition. They were there all season, number one. Fitness level in everything. Distance, high intensity, sprint distance, all of it.
And how much, percentage-wise, how far off do you think they were?
Oh, they're way off, miles away. They were back down in the bottom 3 of the Premier League.
The thing is, this will be these fitness coaches have looked on that this is too hard. What they've been doing is too hard.
Yeah, because he was old school.
Who?
Bielsa.
Yeah.
And I mean old school. Yeah. You don't run, you don't. You don't run, you don't play.
Medieval stuff.
Yeah. It works, though, doesn't it?
It worked for him.
Any job that you wish you'd have gotten?
Well, you always thought that maybe one of the big ones would have come up. Like, I mean, would have been it'd been nice anywhere, but particularly in the northwest, it would have been Man United or Liverpool.
Was there ever any whispers?
No, none. Like I said, I don't think that the way that I let myself get portrayed in the media would have helped the big boys at the big clubs.
Wouldn't have been fashionable enough.
Yeah. Like I say, the philosophy of most managers is we play this way and only this way. My philosophy was a pragmatic approach to win however which way we can. And my job is to buy better players to start playing better football, more attractive football, more entertaining football, but not lose the emphasis for the most important thing, which is winning.
Mm-hmm. You'd think these chairmen and stuff would look at it and go, say you went to Bolton, you're working on a shoestring, you're signing these players on quite a low budget. What could he do with more transfer funds, good knowledge of players?
Steve Parish gave us 30 odd million in January. 4 we signed. And they stayed with Crystal Palace for years after I left. Jeffrey Schlupp, who's still there. Miljovic was from Olympiacos. Patrick Van Arnold from Sunderland. And Mama Sacco from Liverpool. Once we got them, because we got Christian Benteke, Andros Townsend, and Wilfried Zaha. So I said to Steve, we're all right now. He goes, what do you mean? I said, we're sound defensively, and these lads, these front three, as good as anybody. And they're on song. If we supply them, they're as good as anybody. Christian Benteke scored 16, I think. Wolf nearly got into Andros Townsend and started getting a few from midfield. Mama Sacco and Miljovic were massive, because we got that centre midfield player that can sit there in front of the back four. We got Mama Sacco, who's bossing everybody around, who had a point to prove because he got blown out at Liverpool. He was an awesome piece of work, he was.
What did you do with Van Aanholt at Sunderland? Because
taught him how to defend.
He was a liability.
Yeah, taught him how to defend. Spent time with him.
He looked a completely different player.
No, talented, especially going forward. Oof.
Was it you that sent flowers to all the wives?
And candles, Joe Malone.
Expensive, them bastards.
Not the old fucking Yankees.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's Cloughy-esque, isn't it?
Was it after a trip or something?
No, that was Christmas. Thanks for letting you
Putting up with them.
putting your player in this difficult time when everybody's celebrating. We have to concentrate on what we're doing.
Everybody loves a candle, don't they?
Yeah,
Like a candle.
yeah. Well, I mean, Joe Malone.
I just forget to blow them out on a night. That's my problem.
That come out of my pocket as well. That wasn't the clubs. Clubs wouldn't advocate that. Like me.
What's your status at the minute? Would you are you retired from management, or have some?
I don't know whether the wife's ready to kick me out.
Yeah,
she won't be. And she listens to this. She won't be glad I said that. Like, I mean, she might have be fed up of me. Who knows? I don't know. I might have if somebody's. So if I met a football club where we interacted well together and we had the same or similar ideas about where we think the club could go and how do you think you get there, then based on their personality and based on their commitment, if it was similar to mine, I would say yes, and that would be a big part of me saying yes on how well am I going to get on with them? How well do I think we're going to interact together?
that relationship, do
it the right way, discuss, and there's times when they're going to say no and you have to accept that, great. But there's times when you hopefully give them enough information to say yes. You know, I go into a football club and sometimes I will say, you cannot destroy the love for this football club by people who have been working here for 10 and 15 years, because they might be the first that are cut off when they cut their expenses. So you're putting their career, their livelihood in jeopardy. Never mind doing it for yourself and the family. You know, you've got the kit lady, you've got the groundsman, you've got the chef and all that. They've been, the whatever club through and through, tea lady, been there for years and years and years, just for the love of it. And then somebody might turn around and say, well, unfortunately, we have to cut that. And just to say good morning to them, really. See if they're all right. How are you today? Anything I can help you with? Sometimes you get a new tumble dryer, they're made up. Nobody's given.
Just got a new one, haven't you?
Yeah. Nobody's given one before.
Yeah.
They've always had it repaired.
New tumble dryer with a Yankee on top.
That's how daft is. There's that much money in the game and a new tumble dryer. What's a tumble dryer?
Honestly, you try and get it out of them. You try and pay your own staff the right wages sometimes. It's not an easy task. You might get this one, it'll take away from your player budget. I said, I don't care. Just give him the money because it'll be worse. It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it. If they don't look after the players now, we ain't going to get the best out of the players. That's a fact now.
One of my favourite videos of you is when you're up dancing, where you got the basics all wrong there on that dance floor.
Which one dancing?
I don't know, you got a suit jacket on and you just music's got hold of you. I don't think there's anybody within 5 yards of you. It looks like you're abroad somewhere.
Oh, I was at my mate's daughter's 40th birthday party or something like that. He had it at his villa in Marbella. It was an all-nighter, and we'd just stayed up at Sunderland.
Oh, did you have your headphones in? You weren't dancing to the song that was...
The DJ put that on, because I smacked him the day after. So it went viral, that did. It was I gave him a smack the day after. I met him, I said, "You did that, you pillock, come here."
Just because he put the song on?
No, he put it on the internet.
He filmed me.
He was doing his job.
I said, it's a private do you? You've got no right doing that. Slap.
But you're obviously doing Tippy Tappy podcast now. You're enjoying it?
Great, yeah. I mean, that started, it's nearly 2 years now. Started with the World Cup, I think. So 18 months ago. And it's grown from there. I think that being able to release yourself like here now with your questions and just releasing what you've seen, what you've done, and how you do it under no real pressure, and the fact that the interaction, like you've been talking about stuff that I had no recognition I was going to say until you jogged my memory, and then it all comes back to me, So I had no idea what I was going to say today, but what you say triggers all what's happened in my life, and it comes back to me, that particular thing. And that happens with the podcast. We start talking, and then it go, oh, well, when I was here, we did that. And then they go, well, what about this one? And then we talk about the Premier League, about the relevant things and what's happening, transfers with the transfer window. And obviously we all have a go at VAR, don't we? Like, and refereeing, you can't help yourself because, they still haven't cracked it yet, have they?
No.
You know what I mean? We talk about football in general, about our lives. But so we're just, hoping that we can keep going. Because I think the more and more that comes, we're going to have to keep relevant to stay like yourself. You'd have to keep relevant to keep going, won't you?
I just want to speak about the England and the Euros. How did you look back on that?
The
recent Euros. Were you pulling your hair out as much as... I know they got to the final.
It took me ages to watch.
Did it?
Yeah. I couldn't. I couldn't watch, but then I did it because it's over now. Never forgotten, but over. And you can't deny he's the most successful manager since Sir Alf Ramsey, right? But what you can say constructively is his match day decision. I felt his match day decisions came too late. My idea, and Gareth, I've got the utmost respect for, and the way he handled it and what he did, but was, and he did it his way. But I think that my idea was I will stop the opposition scoring a goal by making a substitution or a tactical change before they score, not after they score. If the opposition have changed what they've changed, and they're getting the better of us, I will then change how we are to try and get the better of them again before there's another goal scored. And that is a hugely difficult job. That is a big, big job, because the scrutiny behind a game that's in the balance being changed by you, everybody expects you to make a substitution when the opposition have scored. That's far too late.
Action, not reaction.
Proactive, not
reactive.
That happened at the Switzerland game, wasn't it?
I felt that was a bit, when they come out the second half and the opposition manager has accepted that they were better than them, and he's gone in the dressing room and changed the way they're playing, and then England have come out and struggled a bit against that. Then you substitute yourself to make the change, to make you better.
What I want to know, I don't think we'll ever find out, I don't even know if you agree, but Harry Kane, especially for the last 8 years in these summer tournaments, has looked absolutely fucked. Just treading water. And you think, why? You always say he's had a full season.
They all have.
Yeah,
But they all have.
Everybody's had. He looks like a completely different. Him especially.
Well, this time round more than ever, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
but, I mean,
unbelievable.
I think we were saying it last time as well.
Honestly,
yeah,
the
but
last,
not as big as this one, I don't think.
no, but he has looked the last few tournaments. But again, you're right. This tournament especially. But there must be something.
I know what it is. Bayern Munich never went to Dubai.
Did they have a
sure
winter
to do
break?
that.
Well, that's one element. When you've lived in London all your life, into your late 20s, with your family settled and all your kids settled and so on, and then you pick them up and you take them to Munich. Like I said, it's a massive, massive ask, and it's not only gone and done that, but it's gone and scored the goals. But what Munich is a way down lower than the pace of the Premier League. That's why he scored so many goals. So you can see a player coming from Germany not succeed here because the pace of the game's a bit too quick, particularly on the front line.
I think it's difficult then coming into playing into an international tournament to get back up to pace.
It might have been the injury because he got injured before the end of the season, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But I thought he's definitely going to get booked in for an operation or something straight after the tournament. But he's playing. He's started the season.
Well, they might have been able to secure it without the operation being needed.
Tampa Bay strapping.
I mean, they used to have one of the. He must be retired now. They used to have one of the best gurus ever called Muller Wohlfahrt.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to send players to Muller Wohlfahrt, and they used to come back and we used to go.
Sounds good, doesn't he?
How does he do that?
The best, doesn't
He
he?
used to stick injections in, like just by feel, not by ultrasound. But he spins blood and does all sorts, like you mean, and then puts it, re-inject it in you, and then sends you back. And
Does yogurts as well, doesn't he?
Come on.
End on that, Matty. In fact, cut that.
I nearly said yeah then.
Don't even look, just puts his spoon in.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with you. I think that his tournament was, and it's a big decision then, and at least Gareth's made a big decision by taking him off. So you got to give him credit for that. But the lack of playing in behind.
Yeah.
Well, we're
Again.
quite easy to defend against. You have to be a really good international team to defend against us.
And there are some players that play better for England than the club, and there are some players that play worse for England than play for the club. And sometimes it is because we don't use them in the right positions, like Foden, or Foden's so comfortable with the players he plays with Man City on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. It helps him to be as great as he is. But when it comes to England international level, it's a whole new ball game with different players for just a short period of time.
We go again.
Here we go again.
Well, cheers, Sam.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Cheers.
Really
All right,
appreciate
lads.
your time. Enjoyed it.
Bloody hell.
I know.
You lucky bastards. You doing all this time.